Mottanni signing on. Top of the afternoon from the busiest streets in the northwest region of Cameroon, Commercial Avenue, Bamenda. For the next 60 minutes, my goal here is to keep you going. Keep that fire burning within you so you never give up on that thing, that goal, that keeps you working while others are asleep. The thing that you believe deep down in your gut you can make it happen, or you can make it better. I will attempt to do so with words, poetry, and good music. Only on FM 98.5 Dream FM, the radio for peace and development. Man in the 1001 buttons on the panel mixer, I call him the indefatigable To Clinton. And general supervision comes in from none other but our boss, Real Awamika Power Ramp. On the MIC, ladies and gentlemen, call me motivational speaker, call me spoken word artist, call me your digital marketer, call me Tani D Awa, aka Mottanni. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long while. We know electricity has never been a friend, but today they have decided to respect themselves. So thank you, Enyo, for allowing us to have our motivational talk show on this wonderful day in this wonderful year 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do the right thing at the wrong time, you get pain. If you do the right thing at the wrong time, you get pain. And also, there is never a wrong time to do the right thing. There is never a wrong time to do the right thing. So, we have been talking a lot. Last edition, we talked a lot about the talk of the town, the talk of the world, coronavirus, COVID-19. We talked a lot about the myths. We talked a lot about its means of transmission and how we can prevent it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you that so many of us are not killed by a virus, neither are we killed by a bacteria, neither are we killed by any disease, neither do we die by accident, neither do we get shot or something. Many of us are not killed by circumstances, but most of us are killed by ourselves. Most of us get killed by our own selves. And what causes us to kill ourselves? Ladies and gentlemen, most of us get killed at the age of 25, but we live on. We just keep existing to the age of 60, 70, or 80. What causes this? Most of us do not get to manifest our potential. We don't get to manifest or do the things we know we can do. And by the time you're not doing the things you know you can do, and all you do is receive and enjoy the works of others and end up not giving anything, you are a generational thief. And why do most of us not do that? Why do most of us not contribute to the community? Why do most of us not contribute to build our families? Why do most of us not contribute to build our society? Why do most of us not contribute to build our nation? Why do most of us actually, indeliberately, not contribute to build ourselves? Ladies and gentlemen, it is because of the four-letter word. The four-letter word, F-E-A-R. F-E-A-R. The four-letter word fear. Fear is what kills, make some of us die at 25 and get buried, do not get buried until the age of 60. Fear, fear, fear. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to not talk much about the negative effects of fear, but we want to get you to cross over to the other side and see the wonderful and positive advantages of fear. The wonderful and positive advantages of fear. So that next time, if fear grips you, you will know what to do. You will know what to do. But before then, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the turntables. We'll get our first bite of I think it's a motivational talk. From there, we will talk more about fear. So Clinton, if it is ready, give us something from your side.
Why not now? This is a good time. As the 20th century starts to wind down, a few more years as we get ready for century 21, what a good time to set your goals, work on yourself, work on your skills. What a good time to get it together. What a good time to start this process. Personal development, growing, changing, developing, having a good plan for your money and for your life and for your future. Why not now?
What's now? No opportunities wasted. Listen to me carefully, guys. Listen to me very carefully. You got to hear what I'm saying. This is important. There are 86,400 seconds in a day, and if you maximize each and every one of them, you will live like you want to live, you will have what you want to have, and you'll be what you want to be.
You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. If you just remain how you are, you'll always have what you've got. But if you're willing to make changes, the next 5 years of your life can be totally different than the last 5. If you don't change, chances are excellent the next 5 will be like the last 5. For things to change, you've got to change. For things to get better, it's not what happens that determines your future, it's what you do about what happens. Direction determines destination. All you got to do is make a little change in direction to arrive at a brand new destination in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years.
You either have to change your life. That is, you got to say, you know what, my body isn't there, I'm going to go work out. My relationship isn't there, I'm going to change it. You know, I'm not making what I got to make, I'm going to retool. I'm going to get a new skill. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to do something. You have to do something to change your life. Or, in order for you to be happy, if you can't change your life, you're going to have to change your blueprint. Usually in life, it requires a little bit of each. Does that make sense? And if you change your life and change your blueprint, you can have an extraordinary life. Because all of us are going to have times in our life when what we want or think life should be like isn't going to match how life really is. Those moments, if we blame, our life goes into pain. If we change, we can change our life and match our blueprint. The fact that you're not happy has nothing to do with what you have or don't have. The fact that you're not happy is that your life doesn't match the way you think it should be. And you have some idea of how you think it should be.
Listen to me. There are those of you who what you're doing is if there are 10 opportunities in a day and you're taking advantage of 7 of them and you think you're doing something. Yep, you gotta hear me. You gotta hear me. You only have 24 hours in a day, and you've heard me say this time and time again. The way you spend your 24 hours, it determines how you live.
If you want the future to change for you, you've got to change. If you don't change, the next 6 years of your life is going to be just like the last 6. You'll still be behind on your bills. You'll still be behind on your promises.
No opportunity wasted. Again, no opportunity wasted.
If one of us can do it, hey, we all can do it. And now here's my last question. Why not now?
If I can take it, I can make it.
The most powerful tool that you have right now in your life.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that wonderful one. Clinton, I would like us to continue with that track. The most important part is coming up. I'd like us to continue with the talk we were listening to, a combination of motivational speakers and entrepreneurs and business people out there telling us the most powerful tool you have in life is your mind. And what happens is that fear exists or exists not in that same mind. That's what happens. So if you can control your mind, then you can control every circumstance that come your way. You may not be able to determine which circumstance comes your way at a particular time. But ladies and gentlemen, if you can control the way you react, then you have won. With the presence of the coronavirus and the COVID-19 virus, ladies and gentlemen, some of us are making a lot of excuses. My life is terrible. I can't do anything because of the virus. I can't do anything. All I can do is stay at home. Coronavirus or not, the crisis we have been going through for the past 4 years or not, whether those things existed or not, the excuses you've been giving yourself will continue in their absence. So, look around you. See how people, see how your mates, see how others have been thriving through the crisis, through this virus. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you may get inspiration to get up and make something good of yourself. So many of us, we have dreams, we have goals, we have tasks, we have skills that we want to learn. Skills we had always say, okay, I will learn them, I will find time to learn them. But what is happening now that you have the time? You will now push it to coronavirus, they all sigh, crisis, they all sigh. So I know if you do nothing. My only shit up. So, who is the highest enemy? Who is your highest enemy? Your highest enemy to your success, it is not you. The highest enemy to your success is not your neighbor. It is not your parents. It is not your friends. It is not your enemies. It is not those grandpas you keep blaming that are in the village. The highest enemy to your success is you. The highest enemy to your success is you. It is said that if there is no enemy within, then the enemy without can do us no harm. For somebody to get to you, for somebody to ride you, you must first of all bend your back. So, despite what comes from outside, if that thing that comes from outside is affecting you, ladies and gentlemen, then definitely it is because of something in you. And if you can control, or if you can take time out to curb down that thing in you, then the one outside will hardly affect you that much. Remember that if you do not do that, we are talking about fear today. The fear will kill your passion. The fear will kill your creative ability. Fear itself will cause you to live a life of existence and not actually living, because you have allowed yourself to be plagued by fear, and you have allowed yourself to see only the negative effects of fear. The negative effects of fear. These things happen. Remember, because you think a lot about what would my friends say if I start this little business of mine? What would my friends say if I start writing? What would my friends say if I start listening to motivational speakers? What would my friends say if I start listening or I start attending seminars and workshops? Those days are far off because of the coronavirus. But what would my friends say if I start watching or listening to seminars and workshops online? What would my friends say if I get into music? What would my friends say if I venture into poetry? What would my family think of me if I decide to be a motivational speaker? Because of all those things you're thinking, those things are plagued by what? Fear. How are they plagued? What kind of fears affect us in our lives? As is simple. We are either afraid of pain, we are either afraid of rejection, we are either afraid of defeat, we are either afraid of the word no, we are either afraid of failure, we are either afraid of standing all alone, or we are either afraid of people that are not like you. So it means when we think about the dreams, the passion, the skills, the task, or the plans you had for this year, and with the advent of the coronavirus, the thing that stops you is because you're afraid that, okay, if I continue with this thing, I might end up being in pain. Or if I continue in the field or in my passion, I might end up being rejected by friends, family, loved ones, and society. Or you're afraid of investing in that particular thing that you love so much because you're scared of losing it all. You're scared that you might put in your time, your resources into it, and in the long run you lose everything. Or you're either afraid of being defeated. You're either afraid of being defeated. Some of us are even afraid of winning. We tell ourselves times without number that, okay, what if I'm defeated? Some other person tells himself to give an excuse not to do what he's supposed to do. He takes time to ask his or herself and say, okay, what if I win and I can't handle it? Some of us are afraid of the word no. We will not do so many things in this life because we are afraid to get the word no from another human being. Because we are afraid that if we confront that person, if we confront that situation, we are going to get a lot of no's from others. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You are either living your dreams or you're living your fears. You're either living your dreams or you're living your fears. And fear, F-E-A-R, as I said, it has two meanings. Which one you decide to use, it's all left to you. And which one you decide to use determines what you get out of a fear situation you find yourself in. Fear, the F, the first meaning of fear, the F is false, the E stands for evidence, and the A is appearing, and the R is real. So you can say fear is false evidence appearing real. That is the positive side of it. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So whenever you feel the fear, okay, it's okay to be afraid, but to let the fear stop you from doing what you know, what you're convinced within you that you must do, that is what is not good. So fear, false evidence appearing real. It is false evidence appearing real. Let me tell you this story. There was this guy that whenever he passed around a particular house and he gets the backing of the dog in that compound, what he does is he runs. Whenever he's passing around that, whenever he's getting close to that compound, and at times he even removes his slippers and holds them in his hand and starts running even before the dog starts barking. After a while, the guy had to mount up courage. He told himself, why am I always running? I've never even seen this dog. I only get the voice. Why am I always running away from something I'm not even seeing? So he mounted the courage and told himself that the next time I pass by that house, the next time I pass by that compound, what will happen is, no matter the barks I get from the dog, I am going to stay there. I am going to not run. So when he had the opportunity to pass by that house, what happened is he got the dog barking. So he stood there. He stood there trembling. He stood there afraid. But he told himself, I am not going to run. I must stay here today and face this thing I've been afraid of without even seeing it. So the dog started barking and started approaching the guy. He stood there and was shivering. In the long run, when the dog got close to him, what happened is the dog opened its mouth to bite him. Then he realized that the dog had no teeth. Can you imagine that? Something he has been running away from several years. Then when he decided to confront it, he got to realize that it was not as bad, it was not as scary as he had created the picture in his mind. So he got to realize that the dog had no teeth. And that's how fear appears to so many of us. We create a picture in our mind when we are faced with a situation that helps magnify the fear. But in the long run, ladies and gentlemen, you can think of times where you have been afraid. You can think of times where you've been afraid. Then after confronting the source of your fear, you got to realize that it wasn't as difficult as I made it. It wasn't as hard as I thought. It wasn't as challenging as I built it in my mind. So, whenever you feel fear, remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. You just have to mount the courage. If it is something that you know you must do, and it is something that is very important and it hurts no other person, make sure you face it even afraid. Because that is the difference between those who make it and those who don't. Those who make it, they feel the fear and they decide to move on. Those who don't make it, they feel that same fear and they decide to let the fear stop them from moving on. So remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. The other definition of fear is simple. Forget everything and run. When you face fear, F, forget. E, everything. A, and. R, run. Whenever you face something you're afraid of, forget everything and run. And the challenge is, when you start running away from one thing, you run away from the second one, you run away from the third one, you run away from your destiny, you run away from your dreams, you run away from your passion, you run away from your creative ability, and in the long run, you will end up being a mediocre person in the society. Once you run away from A, you run away from B, you run away from C, and you will keep running for the rest of your life. So when you face fear, it's either you face everything. It's either you remember it is false evidence appearing real. Then you have two options: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. Forget everything and run, but face everything and rise. We are in trying moments. We've been that way for the past 4 years, and coronavirus has just made its way into the beautiful West African city of Bamenda and in the Northwest region. So many people are plagued by the fear of this virus. So many people are plagued by what will happen if I get contaminated. So many people are afraid of what will happen if I get to contaminate others, since they are asymptomatic cases. So many people are scared of losing their loved ones. The fear for stray bullets has been transformed into the fear of coronavirus. We are all so scared. Now it is something that is non-respecter of persons. Whether you're rich, you're poor, whether you're black, you're white, whether you're wealthy or you're wretched, whether you're beautiful or you're handsome, whether you are an amazing person, whether you are an entrepreneur or you are a school dropout or you are unemployed, the virus doesn't care. Whether you live in Kwen or you live in Mancon, or whether you live in Chobu, whether you live in Tanka, the virus does not care where you live. It is here and it means business, and it is causing a lot of fears into each and every one of us. So what do we do when we are facing this kind of situation, the crisis and the virus? We have been able, remember, your past victories should help you overcome this one. We have been able for the past 4 years to survive despite the crisis. We have been able for the past 4 years to manage to provide for our families, to manage to provide for our loved ones. We have been able to survive. We have been able to stay alive for the past 4 years despite the challenging situation, the economic situation we have in the Northwest. Coronavirus is not an exception. It is not. Yes, it is plaguing the world. Yes, it is a dangerous virus. Yes, it exists. Yes, it does not only attack those with white skin, it attacks everybody, but we can overcome it. Why? Because we have overcome worse situations than this. We overcome worse situations than this. The smallpox, when it came, was a virus. but we survived. The Justinian plague came, it killed over 50 million people. We still survived. When HIV came, it was a big virus, and we survived it. When malaria came, malaria was a pandemic, killing thousands and even millions of people every year, every month. But we managed to survive, and we keep surviving those pandemics. Coronavirus won't be an exception. So, while you keep on thinking and worrying about the virus, for you to be able to beat that fear of the virus, you need to find out more information about it. You need to find out more information about that particular virus, its means of transmission, its origin. Yes, there are several theories about its origin, several theories about the intention of the virus. But while all of those theories exist, your main purpose now should be surviving, protecting yourself against that virus. Regardless of the theories they tell you, regardless of the myths people tell you about the virus, the main thing is you have to be able, your business, focus determines direction determines focus, or focus determines direction. Your direction should be now, how do I prevent myself from attracting or from contaminating or from being contaminated or from transmitting that particular virus? That is how you beat the fear of the coronavirus. That's one of the ways. So, ladies and gentlemen, while you're plagued with fear, remember, find out. We did it, we talked about it. Coronavirus is transmitted through droplets. So wear your mask, wash your hands, use your sanitizer, cook any meat you're eating, cook it well. Then get yourself into eating more of vegetables and fruits so that you can build your immune system in case you're attacked by the virus. Take more fruits, take more vegetables to build your immune system. Those are things that you have to do so that you can comfortably say, okay, coronavirus, yes, I'm afraid of you, but I'm more afraid of you taking my life, or I'm more afraid of you taking the lives of my loved ones. So I am going to do everything I can to avoid being contaminated, or I'm going to do everything I can to recover in case I am plagued by that particular virus. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the turntables. Get a bite of music. When we come back, we are going to continue with the same series today. Fear, the other side of fear, the beautiful side of fear, the amazing side of fear, the pushful side of fear, and not the pulling side. So Clinton, give us some bars of music.
Soleil se lève, un nouveau jour se lève. Je vis, je crois, je constate, et encore je vis, et encore je vis. Chaque jour je contemple le soleil sur son parcours. Mon cœur s'est désarmé, je ne peux le contrarier. Alors je me dis, dans mon cœur, il faut s'aimer. S'aimer, s'aimer les graines de la tolérance. S'aimer, s'aimer, s'aimer les graines de l'amour. S'aimer, s'aimer, s'aimer les graines de l'affection. S'aimer, s'aimer, s'aimer les grains de l'intérêt. of Songhai, through Timbuktu, down to the Zulu land. The drums are all beating to the rhythms of unity. I have seen Sundiata's heads on the clouds again. Simanguru, where are you? Oh, Kruma's dreams are all so clear now. The Lambamong flocks on the slopes of Kilimanjaro is king. It's glad tidings I bring to you, oh Africa. Let's wave the flag of peace. Let's wave the white flag now. Oh, so I say, yes I say, we've got to s'aimer les graines de la tolérance. S'aimer les graines de l'amour. S'aimer les graines de l'affection. S'aimer les graines de l'intégration.
Thank you very much, Richard Kings. Richard Kings in that one, Semer le grand de l'amour, Semer le grand de l'intégration. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Richard Kings. It is okay. It's okay to have fears. It's okay to be afraid. The question is, are you having fear, or is your fear having you? Are you having fear, or is your fear having you? We can't lie to each other. Each and every one of us, one time in our lives, have been plagued with fear. We've been afraid. Either been afraid of public speaking, either been afraid of talking in a crowd, either been afraid of singing, either been afraid of dancing, either been afraid of approaching that love of your life. Sometime in our lives we have been afraid. We have been afraid. But some of us, if we think far back, we'll see that we managed to overcome that fear. So the truth is, if you are afraid, then you let the fear stop you from doing what you want to do, from doing what you know you have to do. Then your fear is having you. But if you are able to overcome and move ahead despite the fear, then you are having fears, but the fear is not having you. Somebody said, and it makes a lot of sense, that fear only shows us how human we are. Because when you are facing a situation in the absence of fear, you are tempted to become arrogant. You're tempted to become overconfident. So when you feel the fear within you, the fear helps you to remind you that you are human. And also it reminds you that you have to take precaution. It reminds you that you have to be careful in the way you do this thing. You have to be careful in the way you approach this situation. Are you afraid of public speaking? Are you afraid of singing? Are you afraid of being an entrepreneur? Are you afraid of dancing? Are you afraid of being shouted at? Are you afraid of the virus? Are you afraid of the crisis? Yes, it is okay. It is genuinely okay to be afraid of those things. But please do not let those things stop you from doing the thing you know you must do. Don't let the things you cannot do stop you from doing the things you can do. Don't let the things you cannot do stop you from doing the things you can do. In this period, what do you think you can do? What do you know within you that I can do it, regardless of the crisis, regardless of the virus? What can I do? Find out that thing and do it. That's how you overcome fear. So will it be easy for you to overcome your fear of public speaking, your fear of fear of singing, your fear of dancing? Will it be easy? No. Will you succeed the first time you try? Oh, big no. Sometimes you will not. Sometimes you will even try so hard, but you will still fail. But what happens is the failure is building you for a greater purpose, for a greater height. So it will not be easy to overcome your fear of public speaking. It will not be easy for you to overcome your fear of the virus. It will not be easy for you to overcome your fear of the crisis. It will not be an excursion. It will not be like an excursion or a picnic. It is going to be challenging for you to overcome the fear you have in your life. It is going to be challenging. It's going to be painful at times. At times, for you to overcome fear, you have to go through pain. You have to go through pain. You have to face some painful situations. But it is worth it. It is worth it, because on the other side of fear is everything you ever wanted. On the other side of fear is everything you ever wanted. Because one thing is clear, God placed the most beautiful things in this life on the other side of pain and on the other side of fear. But you have to walk through your fear to get to that thing that you love. Will you sometimes be plagued with a fear situation or a worry situation that you will feel like dying? Oh yes. Oh yes. Sometimes you will, even out of frustration and out of sheer remorse, pray that, Papa God, why not just take my life? Rather than for the suffer me the kind suffer. Rather than for me to go for the go through the kind pain. Rather than for me for the go through for being plagued by fear. You want to sleep small, you hear gunshots everywhere and you're scared. Sometimes you tell God, why? Why not just take my life? It's okay to be afraid. But can you be able to overcome that fear? Oh yes. Oh yes, you can overcome that fear. But mind you, it is not going to happen overnight. It is not going to happen overnight for you to overcome fear. It is going to be a struggle. It is going to be a struggle. You will struggle like a child trying to walk. He starts creeping and falls, continues struggling till he starts creeping. Then he starts struggling to walk by standing and falling, standing and falling, standing and falling. Then eventually he walks. That's how you will overcome fear. Or like a child learning how to ride a bicycle. What happens is he starts trying and falls, starts riding and falling, starts riding and falling. But in the long run, he learns how to ride without falling. That's the process of overcoming fear. Will there be times when you don't know what to do when you're faced with a fear situation? Oh yes. There will be times you don't know what to do. There will be times you don't know what to do. It is okay. It is okay. Will there be times you won't be able to make ends meet? You won't be able to provide for your family. You won't be able to provide for yourself. You won't be able. Oh yes, there will be times like that. One thing very important, will you face some opposition when you start trying to face your fears and overcome them so you can get the beautiful and the amazing things of life? Oh yes. You are going to face a lot of opposition, and the highest opposition you will face will be yourself. Will be that voice within you telling you you are going to fail, telling you are going to die, telling you you will not be able to overcome this, reminding you of the times in which you had failed. But it's hard. It's very hard to overcome fear, but it's simple. Why? Because think of other situations you face and you will see that you went through those situations. You succeeded in overcoming the fear, and this one is no exception. Think way back when you were young, when you started learning to ride the bicycle. You tried and failed and fall. You fell several times while learning how to ride the bicycle. In the long run, you did. So you can overcome your fear. The other opposition you will face, the other forms of opposition you will face, will be your family and friends, those close to you. They might be your highest opposition when you have decided that I'm going to face the fears by fears so that I can get the best that exists on the other side of it. Your friends will tell you, oh no, stop trying to claim tough, not to try to claim big man. You want to show you be waiting, other people don't try fail. Why you want to show you be who? Tell them time without number. Tell them without blinking. Tell them with utmost confidence that if nobody has ever done it, then you will be the first. Tell them that you are afraid, but you're more afraid not to do it. So you have to. You have to. Remember, when there is hope in the future, there is power in the present. When there is hope in the future, there is power in the present. So put your mind to the goal. Put your mind to how you will feel when you've overcome that fear. Put your mind to those beautiful things you will experience, that feeling you will have when you finally get yourself to be able to talk in public without being afraid. When you finally get yourself to be able to be a master of that skill you were afraid of learning. When you finally get yourself to be able to overcome or to live or to stay alive and also protect your loved ones at the end of this coronavirus. When you finally get yourself to be able to still survive and thrive even within the crisis we are going through. Put that those in your mind whenever you feel like giving up, or whenever you're plagued by fear. Put those visions of success in your mind. Visualize the success. Visualize the feelings of success rather than visualizing the penalties of failure. That is how you overcome fear. If you do not overcome fear, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't overcome your fear of certain situations or certain things, I don't know what you're facing or what things you're facing that are causing fear within you. If you don't overcome them, the truth is, in the long run, you will become your own worst enemy. You will become your own worst enemy. You will feel like there is no reason for living. In the long run, you will start feeling gaps. You will start having gaps in your life. Then what will you do? Because of fear, because you have not been able to overcome fear, you will not be able to achieve your dream. You will not be able to provide for your family. You will not be able to be impactful or to contribute to your community and your nation. Then you start feeling left out. Then what you will do now is, those gaps you feel within you, you will start looking for ways to fill them with alcohol, sex, pornography, and so on. You start trying to fill them up, fill those gaps with a lot of alcohol, a lot of sex, a lot of pornography. But all of those things are temporal fixes. All of those things are temporal fixes. At the moment when you're consuming them, you'll feel like, okay, I am fine. But when they are all out of your system, especially alcohol, when it's out of your system, you start feeling that emptiness. If you don't succeed in overcoming fear, fear will be able to bring down the fighting ability of your immune system. That means it brings down the ability of your immune system to be able to fight diseases. In the long run, diseases just come in and instead bring you down. So you have to overcome fear. You have to overcome the fear you're feeling, because once you are able to overcome fear and fill your mind with hope, it boosts your immune system. And even if the coronavirus attacks you, it is going to go nowhere. Your immune system is going to fight it with all it's got, and in the long run, you will be healthy and healed again. If you don't fight fear, you end up looking old at your young age. There are some people who are 20 but they look 50 because they have not succeeded in fighting or overcoming or confronting the fears. What you cannot confront, you cannot overcome. What you don't confront, you cannot overcome. So if you don't confront it, you will end up looking old in your young age. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, fear will keep you in the hospital. Fear will send you to the hospital if you don't overcome it. So I end the program today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you 6 steps to which you can use, 7 steps actually, you can use to overcome fear. When you're faced with a fear situation, a worry situation, like the crisis, like the virus, like the skill you're planning to learn, like public speaking, when you're faced with any situation in which you are you feel that fear within you, what do? Step number 1, acknowledge, accept your fears, and tell yourself it is okay to be afraid. It is okay to be afraid. That's the first step. When you're faced with any situation and you feel the fear, tell yourself it is okay to be afraid. Then, once you're done with step 1, once you've done telling yourself it's okay for me to be afraid, the next thing you have to do is envision your dreams. Visualize your dreams and tell yourself it's necessary and possible, and I have what it takes to achieve it. So step number 2 is, when you're faced with fear, tell yourself, because I feel this fear, it means I have the ability to overcome it. Remember, the good book says that you will not be faced with anything you cannot overcome. So any situation that you're facing now, any situation that is coming your way now, it is coming to you because it knows that you can overcome it. It knows that you can overcome it. And the only person that can prevent you from overcoming that situation, it is yourself. So tell yourself, the second step, when you're faced with fear, tell yourself, I can overcome it. I am okay. I am okay. I am strong. I can overcome this fear I've been facing, because I have overcome other fears and I am still standing today. So you will not be an exception. You fear will not be an exception. You public speaking will not be an exception. You digital marketing will not be an exception. You coronavirus will not be an exception. You crisis will not be an exception. You entrepreneurship will not be an exception. You skill developer will not be an exception. I will be able to overcome the fear of you, and I'll be able to learn how to become better and get the rewards of what lies at the other side of that fear. So once you tell your step number one, tell yourself it's okay to be afraid. Step number 2, tell yourself, ladies and gentlemen, I have all it takes to overcome this fear. I have all it takes to overcome this fear. Then step number 3, you face your fear. Remember, what you do not confront, you cannot overcome. What you do not confront, you cannot overcome. So if you want to overcome something, you must confront it. You must face it. Step number 4, remember this statement. Fear is those obstacles you see when you take your eyes off your goal. Fear are those obstacles you see when you take your eyes off your goal. So focus on what you want to achieve. Focus on what you want to achieve. Always put it at the back of your mind, even when you are plagued with fear. See what you want to achieve. Then remember, the obstacle, you will only see obstacles if you have taken your eyes off what you want to achieve. Then one thing you have to do too when you're faced with fear is watch your inner conversation and discipline your thinking. Discipline your thinking and your imagination. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't control your mind, it will take you on a wild trip. It will tell you all sorts of things that can happen. It will tell you all sorts of negative things that can happen. But remember, you either face everything and rise, or you forget everything and run. The choice is yours. Then watch who you walk with, because fear is contagious. Watch who you walk with, because fear is contagious. Also watch who you tell your fears to, because some people will just blow your fear out of proportion. You will tell some people about your fears, and what they will do is they will make you more afraid. You will tell some people about your fears of coronavirus, they will make you more afraid. They will tell you that no man will survive, all man give a die. Very big lie. So watch who you tell your fears to. Then when it gets too bad, remember, seek for assistance. Seek for assistance in order to be able to overcome your fear. That is why Mottanni is here. Seek for assistance. Be willing to tell yourself you don't know how to overcome it, and seek for assistance in order to overcome it. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot get out of life alive. You must die to live. You cannot get out of life alive. You must die to live. So you have to overcome your fears in order for you to live. You can have fears. It's okay, but don't let your fears have you. Don't let your fears have you. That is all we had for Mottanni today on FM 98.5. That is all we had. The radio for peace and development. That is why we had from Mottanni today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure by the end of today, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to mount the courage to tell yourself it's okay to be afraid, to tell yourself I have what it takes to overcome this fear, to face your fear, to remind yourself all the time that obstacles are the things you see when your eyes are off the goal, to be able to watch your inner conversation, and ladies and gentlemen, to be able to Seek help in case the thing you are afraid of has plagued you in such a way that you feel like you cannot overcome. Seek help from others who have done so. Then you'll be very glad you did. To Clinton, give us our jingle. Then we are concluding the program.
Mottanni, Mottanni, Mottanni.
If you do the right thing at the wrong time, you get pain. If you do the right thing at the wrong time, you get pain. And there is never a wrong time to do the right thing. There is never a wrong time to do the right thing. It's been Mottanni on FM 98.5, the radio for peace and development, benefiting from the technical and experiential assistance of To Clinton and our station boss, Real Our Maker Power. Special thanks to YG Incorporated, Curious Minds Book Club, The Greens International for contributions and to continue to stay unstoppable, relentless, to be more and achieve more. Ladies and gentlemen, get to me on Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, Pinterest with the handle Mottanni, MO20A-N-I. Or you can get me for your seminars and events to present and talk on the numbers 695-614-947, 695-614-947. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, bask in the flame of your greatness. And remember, Mia and Kakatonto, Beriwo, Beriwe, Njika, Ayongna, Neki.